Good stuff. Right. Well, welcome. Here we are on the dot. Look at that. Blimey, that's good. All of this plus pretty good being on the time. All right, we're going to be talking about how to start a side hustle tonight. And if you're watching this live, you are able to type in your questions, your comments, your observations as we're going. If there are thousands of people, then I'll do my best. If there's one person, then I will also do my best. But I'm going to do this all about starting a side hustle. And one of the things that I think is absolutely key, and I'm really going to, I guess, which is really why I wanted to do this particular live tonight about starting a side hustle, is because TikTok and Facebook and pretty much everywhere is packed out with people trying to sell their version of a side hustle. And every time you find somebody talking about it, and there are many providers, I'm not going to name anybody or any organizations, but every time you find one of these, there will always be, throughout the comments, a load of people saying, I might give this a go. Do you think this is legit? What do you reckon? And how do I put this nicely? It's not that I think any of them are a con or a scam or dodgy. They could be. But the problem with most side hustle ideas that we find online is that generally they are selling a course, they're selling a product, they're selling an affiliate link. So even if you find, and again, I'm not naming any products, but even if you find some of the very well-known software platforms that will allow you to build up your own business, they'll often sell a very low price product, $7, $10, $20, something like that. And you think, well, maybe it's worth having a look. But if you've ever downloaded one of these, bought one of these, gone for their 30 days free trial, you will know they pretty much always amount to the same thing. Not only is there a lot more work in the side hustle that you have to do, but also there's a lot of things you have to download, and those things you have to download end up being things you have to pay for, and so it goes on. So I decided, I've been on TikTok a little while now. I've tried to help lots of people how to make money and save money. If you don't know me from TikTok, please go and check me out there. So I decided I'm going to put forward just a few points, a few philosophies, a bit of strategy about starting up your own side hustle. But one of the things I had to tell you, if you decide you want to do this, if you stick with this webinar that I'm going to give you today, there's no amazing moments. There's no big secret. There isn't really, or there aren't really, any secrets to find in side hustles or starting a business or making money. It's largely doing quite simple tasks repeatedly. It's largely putting yourself a bit out of your comfort zone. So what I want to do is get into this and help you to the best of my ability. I'm still here, by the way, if you'd like to see who's speaking. So let's get into this, how to start a side hustle. And this is what I'm going to be covering in this session tonight. If you're watching this live, as I say, you can put your questions, comments, observations through to me. So we'll talk through what is a side hustle. Now, I think there's a lot of misuse of it about how things work. Hi, Garfield. So I will talk a bit about what is a side hustle, why you need a side hustle. Now, if you need to be told this, then maybe getting a side hustle isn't the right thing for you, but let's make sure we're all clear. This whole program, by the way, tonight, it might be 15, 20 minutes, right? It's not a lot of your life to put to one side if it can help you start a side hustle that actually makes you money. And I will repeat, I'm not here to say anything. I've got no course to bring at the end. I've got no, hey, I can do this for you. Let me attack by flies here. I've got no additional add-on, download, affiliate link. I'm offering this to you as genuine advice based on a bunch of side hustles I've tried, started, succeeded, failed, and so on. So we'll talk about why you might need one. We'll talk about the best side hustle for you. Now, this is actually the most important question out of all of these questions here, because too many people, and they do this all the time, by the way, too many people will come on to one of my lives and say, right, can you help me? I need a side hustle. I'm not very well, or I've been at home for 5 years, I lost my confidence, or I'm 18, or I've been out of the workplace for a while, I've got kids, or blah, blah, blah. What's the best side hustle for me? Just as a pre-spoiler for when I get onto this one, there is no such thing as a best side hustle that anybody else can tell you. So those adverts, and that's why I'm doing this program here on YouTube, those adverts, when they say anyone can do it, anyone can succeed, anyone, it's nonsense. It's just not true. I can tell you the things I do to make money, but unless you and I share the same skill set, drives, ambitions, we're unlikely to both have the same level of success. So we will get into that into a bit of detail. How much money will it make you? Not a lot. I'm going to pre-warn you now. If you run it like a side hustle. Now, one of my side hustles, which I started 25 years ago, I still operate today. It's the single thing that's funded me for the last 25 years. It's bought where I live. It's bought my investment property, or at least helped it substantially. It's helped me start lots of other businesses. It's helped me do all the key things in my life. That was one side hustle that I really obviously got into. It became my main business. We'll talk about the legalities of starting. I'll be suggesting to you tonight, if you decide, how's this one fly gone in here? If you decide to go for one side hustle as a result of this session, I'm going to be suggesting to you that you get yourself started today, this week, this weekend. Don't just put this video to one side and think I've got to get to that at some point. You never will. You know that. You've downloaded so much stuff over the past years. You've installed bits of apps and bits of software and platforms, and you've started things and then let them fizzle out. So let's just get started. Let's make one sale. That's it. If we can make one sale, then you know it works. And if you know it works, then it's worth putting a bit more energy into it. And we'll do some questions and answers at the end. I think we have 2 people on live at the minute. So I will, I'm going to give you the full program, as I say, 15, 20 minutes. And then I will take questions if you have them. So side hustle. The phrase side hustle I don't really like, but everybody uses it. So I use it. A side hustle can be a hobby. And in fact, TikTok started for me as a little experiment, and it's become quite a reasonable source of income for me. So a good way to think about a side hustle for you is to think about a hobby. So think about something you're good at. To think about something you can do in your sleep. To think about something you don't mind doing. So think about something you have some expertise in. And if you can do that as an additional bit of effort and find an additional source of income, then we have the basis of a side hustle. Alternatively, you get yourself a job as a driver, an Uber driver, or a pizza delivery person, or there's that thing where they do local deliveries. There's all sorts of those kinds of work. Listen, even a 4-hour shift a week at a Tesco's or a pub, that's a little bit of extra business. Now, personally, you will make your own choice. I like having a side hustle that I control totally. Because if I discover a side hustle that does really well, then I can make big money out of it. You can't do that working for somebody else on however many pounds per hour. So for me, a side hustle is something I do. But you will have your own thoughts or ideas about that. This video, or this picture rather, right now is kind of interesting because I picked this up at the end of 2021. And just look at where we are just 7 or 8 months later. Cost of living catastrophe looms in 2022. Hey, kids, that's where we are right now. As soaring bills and taxes blow a £1,200 hole in the household budgets. That was what they were saying at the end of last year. And I've left that slide on. It's an out-of-date slide because the thing about working for somebody else, the thing about life in general, the thing about governments, no matter what kind of government you like, the thing about any of this stuff is you've got no control over any of it. But you can have control over your side hustle. This is why I like my own side hustle, my own thing, my own idea. I don't want somebody else to have complete control over when I make money or don't make money. So for me, and again, this might be comfortable for you, it might not, I like the fact that a side hustle gives me that separate source of income, and nobody except me can stop it or affect it or alter it. That was what they were saying 8 months ago, 9 months ago. £1,200 hole in household budgets. Now, I suspect many of us would be quite happy to have a £1,200 hole in our household budget right now. I spent £4,500 in the last 2 months on oil. Now, I live in a ridiculously large house. I've got 3 oil tankers here, all sorts. But whatever level that you are currently at, whether you're living with your parents or your partner or a single bedroom place or a flat or apartment or a house, a smaller house, a bigger house, wherever you are living at the moment, you know what's happening with costs, and it's worth having something to focus your mind. When I get an order at 11 o'clock at night for one of my side hustles that's going to make me £12, it's very easy to think, oh, I'm going to delete this one. It's the most stupid thing I can do because the following day, 10 minutes work and my £12 is in the bag. And I'll get 2 or 3 or 4 of those a month. Is it worth doing it for 36? £48 a month? Yes. Yes, it is. How hard do you have to work to take home £36 or £48? We'll come more onto that in a minute, but that's why I do it. What's your reason for doing a side hustle? Keep that in mind. It makes it a lot easier. Now, this is the big question, and this is where we've really got to put a bit of time and a bit of effort into how we're doing this. So this is how I tend to work out side hustles for me. What is it that you like doing, right? What are you good at doing? And then cross-check that list to solve your problems. And you're looking to do things faster, better, or cheaper. Now, I did tell you this wasn't wildly difficult. And people don't want to hear this. People want to hear that you can go on a platform, download something, and suddenly you'll be making $500 a day doing nothing. I'm going to give you a reality check. It doesn't exist. You can develop something, by the way, where you make $500 a day doing nothing, but you can't just go and download that thing. Because if you could go and download that thing, the person who's discovered it would download that thing multiple times and stay very quiet about it. Why would they tell anybody? Just think it through for a moment. Those people that say, oh, Forex is amazing. I log in for 10 minutes in the morning. I then go out and I lie on the beach and I go shopping and I buy some stuff and I hire a car and I stand in front of it and da-da-da-da-da. And I come back 15 minutes later, 12 hours later, the following day, and I just cash out. Today, £380, tomorrow, 5. It's nonsense. You know it's nonsense. So we have to do a bit of grind here. What do you like doing? And what are you good at doing? And cross-check those, and you're looking for where you can solve problems. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. It's very, very simple. So let me just get rid of me. There we go. So here's my list. What do I like doing? Well, I like talking on camera. I'm gutted at the moment my camera isn't on because I'm putting the full list up for you. Playing PS, strumming, public speaking, walking outdoor life, writing scripts and teaching. Those are things that I like doing. Now, if you're going to do this, you write your list of things you like doing down the left. And you can be quite bizarre with this. If you like making cupcakes, if you like painting Warhammer figures, I'm trying to think of random things. If you like making erotic candles, if you like knitting horsehair into Norse gods, I think that's a sufficiently random list. Great. Put it on your what you like doing list. Then you've got to do yourself a little bit of a check, really, a bit of a sanity check. So go down that same list of the things you like doing and cross out the things that you're not very good at. You can see I've crossed out playing games, the PS game. I'm not very good at it. Strumming guitar. And when I've said I'm not very good at walking and outdoor life, I've noticed I'm past a significant birthday now, and I've not quite got the energy and the oomph I used to have. So that's left me with just a few things. Now, the purpose of doing this, why does it matter if you like doing it, if you're good at it? Well, if you don't like doing it, but you are good at it, yes, that will work. You can make money from it. But remember, side hustles, are you trying to do stuff first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and the weekends, and the holidays? When you finish the day at work, you've now got to do your side hustle. So if you don't like doing it, it's really tough. If you stick with things you like doing, but you're no good at, well, you're on a really short route to failure there, aren't you? Why would I buy your rubbish erotic candles, unless for comedy value, if there are several other people selling the same thing but better than you? So this is why I would suggest you start with something you like doing and then build in to which extent or what extent are you good at any of those things. Now, when you've got that list down, I have there, talking on camera, public speaking, writing scripts and teaching, now you start to think on the next stage. What problems can you solve? And this is where it gets a bit more interesting. You see, my side hustle that I started in 1996 was because I looked at what other suppliers were doing in the side hustle I'd started because it was something I enjoyed it and I was good at. And I noticed that a lot of them were not very good for a whole bunch of reasons. I won't bore you with all the details, but it was to do with management consultancy. And I noticed that a lot of people in that sector, they were either really entertaining but a bit pointless, or really dull but useful. And I thought, well, I'm pretty sure I can be both useful and engaging. And that was it. That was my single point of difference. So what annoys you about other suppliers? There's going to be something when you think about what it is. Now, if, for example, you're into, I'm trying to think of those random things I said earlier on, painting Warhammer figures. If you've tried to watch somebody on YouTube or TikTok or wherever you go for such a thing to teach you how to paint Warhammer figures better, and they're not very good at it, well, there's something you could do better. Maybe their angles aren't very good, or it's not very well lit. I mentioned I like playing guitar, right? So sometimes I go on YouTube and try and learn a riff, but the angles that you show somebody playing guitar can make it really easy or really difficult. So if I was going to go in that world, I'll be thinking, how can I make this clearer and easier? What can you do better? And there's a really classic bit of phrasing that you want to consider. Keep in mind, faster, cheaper, and better. This is a very old idea, and it's massively powerful. Your offer, whether it's a product or a service, you can offer faster, cheaper, better, and you can have two of those three things. So think that through. If you offer bespoke drone photography and you decide to compete with other drone photography offers that you've found online, you could do your showing up, getting the thing, getting edited and getting back to people faster than everybody else. You could be cheaper than everybody else as well. It's not going to be better, is it? It's going to be a bit of a ropey offer. So it can be faster and cheaper, but it won't be better. Or it could be faster and better than everybody else's offer. Your drone photography could be, oh my goodness, it's jaw-droppingly good. Plus, you were only here an hour ago, and here it is already on my iPad. Wow, it's faster and it's better. You can't do that for cheap, can you? And let's just think it through. It can be cheaper, it can be better, but you won't be doing that particularly fast. So you can think about those three as a route into how will we do this for our customers. So very, very simple. You just got to spend a bit of time. And this is really what I was saying. Spend time talking about it, thinking about it. It's really important you share your ideas with other people. A lot of people say on TikTok, I've got this business idea. I can't say too much about it. Okay, the ideas are easy. Everyone's got an idea. What you need to do is to try putting that idea into some kind of action. Because if all you're going to do is think your idea, you will get nowhere fast. So you've got to think your idea through for your side hustle. You've got to share it with others. If they all go, wow, you might be onto something. Now, what's important to you is an important question here, right? So I don't like to spend much time. We're on the third point down. Minimal time and effort, and I enjoy it. So what I mean by that, I don't want to spend ages and ages and ages doing my side hustle. And if I do, it's probably because it's making me substantial sums of money. Most of my side hustles are 10, 15 minutes here and there. They are light touch. I sell courses on Fiverr. Once they're written, it's a 5 to 10 minute job to go, which one is that they've bought, make a quick welcome video and send it off. And I will get paid for that. I have a complete green screen studio over here, and I do bits to camera for a client in America. It generally takes me 40 minutes, and I might make $40, $50, $100 for that. It's a quick in, out for me. I enjoy it. It's quite fun, but it's fast as well. So think what's important for you. If it's all about the money, it's a different perspective. If it's all about the quality and what you deliver, that's a different perspective as well. What do you see yourself doing? I have accepted side hustles when I was younger, thinking, oh, sounds great, easy way to make money, without even thinking if I wanted to do the thing. If you don't want to do it, if you hate the idea of sales, you're going to be a bit stuck, aren't you? Unless you can figure out a way that you don't need to actually sell anything, which, spoiler alert, is tough. And then finally, let me just move myself there. I want you to consider how quickly you can try this idea out. If you're listening to me right now, whether live or a recorded version of this, how quickly, following the end of this webinar, can you go and start brainstorming and trying something out? And how quickly can you get your new business up and running? You're probably not going to make a lot of money, But I want you to consider the effect of compounding. And compounding simply means making very, very small changes to your life, to your activity, and they start to build up. So your ideal is for every pound, euro, dollar you spend, you're going to make two. Right? So if you buy some product and you advertise it and you spend some time talking about it, and the whole cost of that is $50, ideally you want to sell it for $100. Now, that's a very crude metric, and that may not be enough. You might need to sell it for 150 or 125. But let's just keep that in mind as a starter. A lot of people think, well, if it's all cost me 50, I'll sell it for 60. That's not enough. You need to do more than that. I personally think service is easier than product because you don't need to ship or move, but that means doing something rather than just clicking boxes and buying stuff. But the key thing for me is to make sure that you can prove it works. And this is why I said to you earlier on, I want you to work out to sell one of your thing. All right. Now we'll come back to what compounding means in a minute, but we only need to sell one and then we can improve our costs. So what do I mean by that? Well, look, I'm getting attacked by a fly just as I turn the camera on. Let's assume that you've got an idea for teaching actors in murder mystery events. You know, those go out and have a meal and watch some murder mystery stuff. Again, I'm trying to think of a random service. Let's assume you love acting, you love murder mystery, you love your Agatha Christie, you've been to loads of those meals. You think, oh, I'd love to actually get involved. I don't want to run the events, but maybe I could find some actors, I could teach them, they could pay me to learn the key skills, I could supply them, make a small bit of cut from. Yeah, that's interesting. So let's assume that your idea, you work up your idea, you build up a couple of pages, you do a few things on TikTok or Facebook, and then you get a customer, and your customer pays you £45. Now, when you work it all out, and all the time and all the effort and all the heartache and the time you spent talking on Facebook, you might actually think, well, £45 was a really depressing payback for it. What was the point? Was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it because you've now proven the concept works. Somebody who's not your mum or Bob down the pub is prepared to give you £45 for your idea. £45 is a good result. Think how long you have to work to take home £45, right? So take home your £45, that's worth keeping. So £45 is the start. Now, if you sell one, then you can decide, do I want to sell a second one? Do I want to try and get 3 actors on the next course? Get 3 lots of 45 quid. Do I want to try and get 10 people in the room? That's 450 quid. This is starting to become quite interesting. So what you're looking to do is not only think, can I sell more, but how can I reduce my process? How can I make it cheaper? How can I do it quicker? Did I need to do that advert? No, the advert didn't get me business. Where did I get my business from? Well, I went onto Facebook groups and I looked for people who like murder mystery events and I started chatting to them. I could do that. All right. So what you're starting to do is to figure out a better way of building your business. And just take a look at this quite quickly. If you make £10 a week, and I have had this conversation with so many people on TikTok, it's not worth it for £10. It's not worth it for £10. £10 a week, €10 a week, $10 a week is 500 a year. I've taken 2 weeks off for Christmas. So look, 500, that's half 1,000, right? That's worth having. If you think you're going to get that pay rise this year, brilliant. But I bet you're not going to get that much. If you can sell 75 a month, that's 900 a year. 200 a month, you're into 2,500 per year. Now, keep in mind, I am not looking for major time in my side hustles. So I like to do this quite quickly. I want quick, something that I enjoy. I drop in, I do the work, we go on from there. But you might be different. You might really be in this for the money, in which case you might to ramp up your numbers. Keep in mind, if you then start to get to 3 times £10 or €10 per week, that's 1,500 per year. And if you look at those numbers, we start to actually see quite quickly your side hustle can make you a lot of money. Now, I will remind you right now, because I see a couple of people have come in, a couple of people have left. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have any product to sell you. I've got no course to sell you. Anybody wants to talk to me on a one-to-one basis, very happy to have that conversation. That might lead to some kind of finance, but I'm not here to promote that. I'm here to genuinely offer you a bit of a thinking about this side hustle idea. When people say it's only £10, How long, I will ask you, how long do you have to work to take home £10? For a lot of people, it's a bit of time. And if you love your job, great. But I've got to ask you then, why are you looking at a side hustle? So these numbers on the screen here, for me, are important. Because if I start to think about these kind of numbers, 11,500 per year, spending limited time doing things I like, 11.5 grand is what I took from my side hustles last year. 11,500 pounds, largely doing very little amounts of time, but for things I enjoy. Thank you, Garfield. Yes, it does cover someone's iPhone. Thank you very much for that. I was waiting for somebody to come up with that. So that's my point. You can actually very quickly start to see some really decent return on not much effort. So what are the legalities? Please notice this. And this, by the way, for all the tax avoidance, tax evasion people that get it all a bit mixed up, is worth knowing. You can, I've copied this from the HMRC Gov website. You can check this out yourself. You can get up to £1,000 each tax year in tax-free allowance for property or trading income. Think that through. £1,000. This is called the small trader allowance. What this means is you could start this hobby, this side hustle, this small idea tonight, if you like this. You could start this off if you feel suitably inspired. And if a year from now you've made £300, £500, £800, depending on your particular tax situation, you don't even need to tell HMRC. Now, we all have different tax situations, but I take advantage of that. I absolutely take advantage of that. It's brilliant. £1,000 without even having to notify HMRC. Now, this is important because you don't need to set up a limited company, to buy a website, to buy a domain name, to get yourself a brand, to get yourself, all of that stuff's lovely. But remember what I said earlier on. All I want you to do, if you're interested in this, all I want you to do is to see whether or not there is some possibility of business here for you. If you don't already have a unique taxpayer reference number, a UTR, again, you can find this very, very easily. Sometimes HMRC isn't the quickest at getting this to you, but I will say this in HMRC's to their benefit. They're pretty decent and pretty organized and pretty helpful with these kind of things. So you can get yourself a UTR number, and it just means that you are covering your situation, your back, and the legality of it. And it's really what I've said to you throughout this. I want you to make one sale to one customer. It's all you need to do. If you do that, you know you've got an idea. And then you will know if you want to do more of it. Most people do this the wrong way around. Most people get caught up in an advertising video. There's loads of them. We've all seen them on TikTok, on Facebook, and wherever. And people going, oh, I only do 10 minutes work and I make loads of money. Download my free report. Of course, it's a free report. Brad, if you're self-employed, it's a little bit different, but it's worth just checking out. Actually, I'll answer that question immediately since that's what we're talking about. Self-employed, I suppose I wouldn't get another £1,000, €1,000 trading allowance if it was a separate income. It is worth checking that because I've had conversations with my accountant about this. I'm self-employed, but through my own limited company, but I'm still able to make use of that. So depending on your situation, the worst you're going to have to do is a 30-second Google and you'll get the answer for your situation. Or talk to your account guy or your bookkeeper or whoever. But my point is, even if you're not eligible for it, okay, no bad thing. You can still try this very quickly and very easily. I think you are entitled to it, so long as it's a different idea. So it's the small trader allowance. It's known as. You can Google small trader allowance, but it's kind of informally known as the sort of the hobby allowance, because during the pandemic and actually a little bit before that, as people were trying to find other sources of income, there was increasingly. I mean, it originally happened with the car boots. So when car boots really took off, HMRC realised that some people were going to make money from car boots, and that was probably okay if it was every 4, 5, 6 weeks you clearing out your place, whatever. But if you're there every single week with product, then a bit difference. eBay, it's been applied to eBay a lot. So you go on eBay. I've been selling stuff on eBay for 12 years. I don't know how long eBay's been out, not long after it started. And, I'll get a thing, I'll sell it, I'll make a cheeky fiver, tenner, 20 quid, 30 quid, 100 quid, and put it to one side. It's not a problem. Where HMRC, of course, is going to be concerned if it's a regular big source of income. But you can still start it up. And if you're going to start as a separate idea, Brad, what you could do is just give it a separate name, still use your own credentials if you're not allowed to do a separate thing, but I suspect you might be. Try how it goes. If it goes well, great. And that's the whole point of proof of concept. Because if you get the first one, whether you make a lot of money or a little bit of money, then you can look at tweaking prices. Then you can reduce your advertising or your process, your product, everything else. And do that before you hand over your hard-earned money to some fast-talking bloke in America or Britain or wherever. Now, I said this might be 15, 20 minutes. It might be half an hour. We've actually landed right on the half-hour mark because that's how good I truly am. I will take questions and answers. I can see it's quite a small group today, so we may not have many questions or comments or observations, but I will take them if you wish. Alternatively, I will bring this towards a close. So let me know your comments, questions, and observations. Put them into the comments right now. And we can go from there. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. So we can get into that as you wish. What I can tell you, just whilst you're typing, is for me, thinking up a side hustle or trying to do a little bit of business, a little something on the side, is generally more entertaining than the rubbish on TV these days. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't waste hours sat down the pub. And often my brain's just buzzing away with little ideas. And what I love about this whole idea of a side hustle is you can just try something and see if it goes. Look at this video I'm doing right now. This is part of an overall side hustle on TikTok. TikTok is a side hustle for me. TikTok makes me money. Not only does TikTok make me money, but TikTok leads to other platforms that make me money. So I have a Fiverr side hustle and an Upwork side hustle and all these little things all bringing in little sources of income. Each of them quite small, but they all kind of build up quite quickly. You were willing to say you got 11.5 from side hustles last year. Yeah, that's my best estimate. I've had to leave quite a big chunk of it out because I have quite a bit of property as well, which is also on a side hustle basis. Does that include your TikTok? And if so, how much from TikTok? Very little from TikTok. Directly from TikTok, as most people know, the creator fund is quite low. I'm not going to tell you my creator fund figures. There's a bit of an argument about this. A number of people think that if you do reveal that, TikTok doesn't like it. And I know we're on YouTube at the moment, but I like being on TikTok, so I don't want to upset anybody at TikTok. But TikTok pays very small amounts, but that's if you like the first level of income. But if you do a collab, hi Leonard, if you do a collab, if you do a bit of advertising with somebody, that can be separate income. I also make money because people find me on TikTok and then ask me to do work elsewhere. So although that doesn't come off TikTok, it comes as a result of TikTok. And then the big picture is both TikTok and LinkedIn and my clients all kind of work together. So often I'll go and meet a client, they go, I've seen you on TikTok. So directly, it's 11.5 from my smaller side hustles and certainly sources of TikTok. That's a big answer, Garfield. I'm trying to be as accurate as I can for you. All right, if we have final questions, comments, observations, I will take them. If not, I will bring this broadcast to a close and thank you all for being here. Do please let me know if you have final questions, comments, or observations. Okay. All right. So I will see you next time. I'm probably going to be on TikTok quite soon. For now, do check me out on TikTok if you don't know me, Graham David, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.